Hello, students. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is chapter 2, Understanding Secularism. In different countries, people follow different type of religion. So all the religions are different in different countries. Somewhere, some religion is in majority and other religion is in minority. So a religion is subjugated. Underline the word subjugated means bring under control of the other religion. Like in India, if I talk about, Hindus are in majority. Other religions may think that the Hindu religion is subjugating them. Subjugating means controlling them. Okay, they are under their dominance. Earlier it used to happen. If you pick up our history, you can come to know about the discrimination they faced, the exclusion they faced, and the persecution they faced. Persecution means harassment. Now I'm going to give you examples of different countries. Under Hitler, Germany, the people, lack of Jews, were killed. They fled to some other countries because Hitler was telling his people that hate Jewish people. Jews is the name of the community that hate them, and the Hitler was killing them. So some people fled to another country of Jews. If I talk about Muslim, Christian and other minorities in the state of Israel, they are badly treated. Muslim, Christian and other minorities are treated badly in the Jewish region of the Israel. In many Islamic countries, you cannot follow other religions. It is compulsory to follow Islam religion. You cannot build a mosque, means you cannot build a gurdwara, a temple, a church over there without their permission, because their main religion is Islam. So you cannot put your religion in front of them. They follow Islam religion, you also have to follow. Their people are not free to follow any religion. Saudi Arabia is an Islamic country, so the people have to follow this thing. Non-Muslims cannot build their gurdwara, church or temple. But if I talk about India, in India, if you see your neighborhood only, you see different type of culture and religion people live in your society, in your neighborhood. Their religion is different, their language is different, their culture is different. But in India, India is having no official religion. All the religions are equal in the eyes of law. Okay, India's country have not adopted any official religion. We have separated religion from state, from country, because all religions are equal in the eyes of law in India. That is the meaning of the word secularism. That every religion is equal in the eyes of law. The people are free to profess, to propagate any type of religion. You can follow any type of religion. Nobody can stop you. That is the meaning of the secularism. Okay. It have right to profess. Profess means you can continue to profess any religion. You can propagate any religion, means you can spread any religion. All religions are equal in the eyes of law. And we have separated the religion from the state. There is no official religion of the country. Okay, we have separated the religion from the politics. Like in Saudi Arabia, the non-Muslims, they cannot build church or gurdwara or temple. But in India, if you belong to any religion, you want to build anything, you can build. You can follow your religion. If I talk about secularism, secularism is tolerance of all religion. Means you have to respect all the religions. Special emphasis on protection of minorities, that minorities to be protected. In the beginning I told you, some religion are in majority, means they are large in number. Some religion are in minority, they are small in number. So you have to make a balance among the majority and minority. Okay, so special emphasis is being given to minority religions, okay, to the minority people. That majority people should not dominate them, should not control them. In India, you cannot control anybody, you cannot dominate anybody on the basis of the religion. So special emphasis is being given to protection of the minorities. And you have to preserve your communal harmony. Harmony means peace. That every religion people should live together in an harmony. Harmony means peace. They should have peace relationship with each other. If I talk about secularism, it is based on the two basic principles that you have to separate the religion from politics, from the state, and second is you have to accept the religion. Okay, you have to accept the religion as purely because it is the private affair of an individual, whatever religion he or she wants to follow. Like I am a Hindu, I want to change my religion. I can easily change my religion. I can follow any type of religion because I am free. In a country like India, the people are free to follow any kind of religion, whatever they want. Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan, S. Radhakrishnan said that secularism does not mean that irreligion is there or atheism is there. Atheism means aesthetic people are there. You are aesthetic. Okay, you don't believe in God. They lay stress on the material comfort of the people. In whatever religion he or she is comfortable, they can follow that religion. It is up to them, whatever religion the people wants to follow. The secular state is a state which guarantees an individual that freedom of the religion is there. You can follow any kind of religion. It deals with an individual. Okay, what religion an individual wants to follow. It is not based upon the constitution. That in the constitution it is not written that this is the official religion of your country, India. There is no official religion of the country, India. You are free to follow any kind of religion. Okay, with this you should promote the harmony among the people, the peace among the people. If I talk about late Indira Gandhi, she was our former prime minister. She has said that secularism is neither a religion. Okay, it is not a particular type of religion or nor indifference to religion. Means it is not different from religion and it is not to follow a particular religion. But it is giving equal respect to all the religions, giving equal status and respect to all the religions. Not tolerating the religion, but with a positive aspect, respecting the religion. It is based upon this condition. The topic now we are going to start is why it is important to separate religion from state. Why we have to separate the religion from the politics. The first part, there are two parts in this topic, part A and part B. The part A talks about the people. You know, India is a multicultural society, diverse society, where the people are following different kinds of religions. So people following different religions live together in a multicultural society. There are two kind of people. One, religion is in majority, another, religion is in minority. If a country is there where majority of people are there and they are having right to elect the representative, to elect the leader by voting, minority are not given these rights. Okay, minority are undermined. Their rights are undermined. They are dominated by the majority class. They are discriminated by the majority class people. So minority will be not satisfied with these things. Minority class will not be satisfied with such unbehavior. So in our country, in India, universal adult franchise is being given. What is universal adult franchise? That everybody, means every person whose age is 18 years or above, he or she is having right to vote. Okay, irrespective of their caste, religion or anything. We don't see the caste, religion, culture, sex upon this. They are free to follow this universal adult franchise. They are free to vote. They are having right to vote. So if majority class will be in power, then minority class will be dominated, they will be discriminated and they will not be satisfied with this. Okay, they will put a pressure on them. How they will put a pressure on them, the majority class? They can ban their religion. They can ask the people that follow our religion, if the majority is in power, they can ban their religion. They can force them to follow the religion which majorities follow. Okay, their rights will be taken away. The minority class rights will be taken away by the majority class. So there are so many problems if universal adult franchise is not there. If the people are not having freedom to follow any religion, this kind of thing can happen. Okay, the people of majority, they can stop the grants, the aids given to the minority people. Okay, so there are such things. That's why it is important to separate the religion from the state. We live in a democratic country like India where universal adult franchise is being given. In a democracy, we give equal rights to everybody, equal status to everybody. Economic status, economic equality is there, social equality is there in democracy. We live in egalitarian society, that is, equality to all the sections of the society is being given here. So that's why it is important to separate the religion from the state. The majority should not be in power. Both should be given equal status. The majority class also and the minority class also. Okay, the minority class should not feel something that majority is dominating them, putting a pressure on them. Okay, both are equal in the eyes of law. Both the religions are equal. That's why they are free to follow any religion. If I talk about the part B, in the part B it is being given that we live in a democratic country like India where the freedom of religion is a fundamental right given to us. Freedom of religion is a fundamental right. It is being written in your constitution. Means freedom of religion. Means you are free to follow any religion. You can propagate any kind of religion. Okay, you can embrace any kind of religion, that is upon you. So that is the freedom of religion is being given, that you can follow your religion, any religion, you can change your religion, you can embrace any religion, that depends upon you. It is our fundamental right. Okay, in this topic, the freedom of the religion, they have given one example, that if I talk about orthodox section of the society. Orthodox means who follow the rigid caste and culture, means they follow a fixed system. Whatever the fixed system is going on from the past, they will follow that only. If in orthodox also liberal peoples are there who want to change the thought, the orthodox people will not. Earlier casteism was there in Hinduism. Untouchability was being followed up, that we belong to pure blood, we belong to pure caste, you don't belong. This was there. Okay, the untouchables were there. They were not allowed to go to the temples. They were not allowed to sit on chair or something. They used to sit on the floors. They were not allowed to go to schools. They were not allowed to draw the water from the well where the Brahmins or the other Hindus were doing, because they are being discriminated by the other class people, by the Hindus basically at that time. That was untouchability. Orthodox people used to follow the untouchability right. According to Article 17 of our constitution, untouchability is banned now in India. You cannot follow untouchability in India. You cannot discriminate anybody on the basis of their caste or in whichever caste the people is being born. You cannot discriminate on the basis of that to any people. In Article 17, it is clearly written. It is a punishable offense if you do so. They are saying here that if the people will still follow the untouchability, they still follow the orthodox thinking of the people, then our society cannot be called a democratic society, because they are neglecting the ideals of the democracy. This is the ideal of the democracy, that you people are free to follow any religion. You can embrace any religion. Okay, you can change your religion. Untouchability is being banned. You cannot follow up that. It is means being neglecting. If you are following untouchability, then the basic ideal of the democracy is being neglected here. They are saying the pressure is there. If the majority will keep on dominating or pressurizing the minority community, then it will be a great trouble. So there is a reason to separate the government from religion. Okay, that's why we need to separate the government from religion. Understood? The concept which we are discussing now, it is about the Indian secularism. The Indian secularism has not come from the outside India. It is not an exotic concept. It is the concept which grew in India itself. In the past, a Sufi movement was there and Bhakti movement was there, because of which the communities, they come closer to each other. The different people of different religion, they come together. If I talk about Ashoka, he preached, okay, different types of religion. Ashoka preached, he was a Hindu, he preached Buddhism, you all know that. So Ashoka was there in the ancient time, he preached and practiced the religions in India. If I talk about the Constitution of India, the constitution which was drafted by Motilal Nehru in 1928, in that the word secularism was being written. You know, it is being drafted by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. But when the Motilal Nehru drafted it in 1928, Motilal Nehru said that there should be a specific provision for the secularism, that all the religions should be equal. Later on, Jawaharlal Nehru said that religion is all right, everybody is right. It is applied to all the ethics, all the morals which the people are following. They should not discriminate anybody on the grounds of the religion. Everybody is equal, means they are free to follow any kind of religion. If I talk about the concept of the secularism, the outline of the secularism, the Supreme Court of India said that there is no mysticism. What is the underlying the word mysticism? Mysticism generally means that nobody is having some spiritual belief. There should be no spiritual belief in a secular state. In a secular state, there should be no spiritual belief. Secularism is not anti-God or pro-God. It believes in the discipline of devote. Devote means the person who is following some kind of religion, the divine God, okay, deep religious feeling in the heart of the person. And the agnostic. Agnostic means a person who neither believes nor disbelieves in God. Neither believes nor disbelieves in God. And the atheist. Atheist means the person who doesn't believe in God. It eliminates God from the matters of the state. Okay, so it ensures that nobody should be discriminated on the basis of religion. People are free to follow any kind of religion. So these are the basic principles. In our preamble is the first page of your constitution. It is being written that India is a secular state. Okay, 42th amendment of the constitution in 1976, this word secular came. In 42th amendment of the constitution in 1976, the secular word was added. There is no state religion. No state religion means there is no particular religion of a state. Means no tax for the promotion or the maintenance of any particular religion or institution, religious institution. And there is no religious instructions should be given. There should be no religious instructions to be given in any kind of educational institutions. No tax on the propagation, on the maintenance, or I should say on the promotion of any kind of religion, or there should be no religious instructions in any kind of educational institutions by the state fund. Freedom of conscience. Freedom of conscience means people are freedom to profess, to practice, or to propagate, to spread any kind of their religion. Whatever religion they are following, their own religion, they can profess that religion, they can practice that religion, and they can propagate, they can spread that religion. That is upon their wish. Now, fourth point is freedom to manage the religious affairs. Every religious community is having the right that they can follow or they can establish or maintain the institutions, the religious institutions, or any kind of charitable trust. They can maintain any kind of religious institutions or the charitable trust. That is freedom to manage their religious affairs. Next is the fifth point, equality before law. Equality before law, Article 14 guarantees that there should be equal rights given to all. Everybody should be equal in the eyes of the law. Article 15 explains us the concept of the secularism. It enlarges the concept of the secularism as it prohibits the discrimination on the basis of caste, culture, religion, on any types of grounds. They cannot discriminate anybody. Okay, the people are free to follow any religion they want to follow. So that is in Article 15. Article 16 guarantees that equal opportunities to be given to all the citizens in all the matters. Okay, in case of public employment also, everybody should be given equal opportunities. Next is 6, that is cultural and educational rights. Your Article 29 and 30 guarantees this. Article 29 says this, that all the communities are having right that they can prevent their language, their script or their culture. They are having full right in Article 29 that they can protect their language, their culture or their script. Article 30 said that all the minorities, whether they are based on the religion, whether they are based on any kind of language, they have right to establish and administer the educational institution of their choice. If any religious community thinks that the educational institution to be established, they can establish their educational institution. They can administer that educational institution. It is upon them. This is Article 30. Article 29, you can protect your language, your culture and your script. Article 30, you have right to establish any kind of religious institution which impart the education that is of their choice. Thank you and have a nice day ahead.